Hey, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Rays Rewind podcast. Fun fact for you, the inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. Frederick Bauer, the mastermind behind stacking chips, is in a can. His burial wishes were for the ashes to be buried in a Pringles can. And after he passed away, his family respectfully brought the original flavored Pringle can on their way to the funeral home to collect his ashes. And now you know. Let's get to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with Bell, Bushman, and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Rays Rewind podcast. Welcome in. Welcome to our show. I'm the great L. Bushman. Joining me, as usual, is Drew. Make sure to go to our YouTube page and hit the subscribe and notification bell when new episodes drop. And also follow us on Instagram at Sick Podcast, Rays Rewind. Welcome in. Rays come out of the road trip 4-2, dropped today's game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But ultimately, Drew and I, we talked about this before the show. I think it was a successful road trip. The Pirates series was going to be a tough one just because of the pitching matchups and the new retooled Pirates offense with some familiar faces on that as well. Wanted to get your thoughts on the series before. Let's do the White Sox series before we get into the Pirates one. I think this one was a one that Rays fans were like, oh, we're going to go play the White Sox. We've struggled historically against the White Sox. We haven't won on an April 15th game against the White Sox in forever. And glad that the Rays went in and swept the White Sox. So those worries are all gone. We're winning against teams that aren't great, which, that's good because we need to win against teams that aren't great. But thoughts on the White Sox series before we get into the Pirates one?
Yeah, man. I think when you see the schedule before the season starts, you look at that White Sox series and the Rays fans
historically are like,
really
why?
know. Yeah, that really know this team. I'm sure, were a little nervous about going to Chicago in the middle of April and probably knowing the weather would be unpredictable. You're coming off a Yankee series where you're thinking, man, that Yankee series goes bad. And then, I go back to, I believe it was 2024. The White Sox were easily the worst team that year, and they were like historically bad at the beginning of the year. And I believe the Rays went to Milwaukee, which was just a disaster.
Yeah.
The Jose Siri fight, all that stuff. I think they still somehow won a game there.
That whole White Sox series last year really just kind of turned the tide for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they took 2 of 3, I think, at Steinbrenner or something. And on the road, they hadn't won.
It was a disaster after disaster.
And they got swept in 24 against they were awful that year too. Because I remember recording an episode just about how awful the team was, and I think that was when they were coming back for the City Connects. So I was nervous, even though the White Sox they were a little more. They got some excitement a little bit. I would say they're not. I don't know if they're going to be they're not going to be the terrible team
they were last year. I think they'll be a little bit better.
They have so many young guys that they're giving time to. It's like you feel like if some of the things click that they're going to be a little more exciting, and you're getting them early on. So you just, before their spirits crushed a little bit more maybe. And man, I was super impressed. I mean, they, especially, that last game, I think it would have been easy for the team to kind of, I don't want to say mail it in, but you take 2 of 3, you take the first 2, they give up the late homer to Pereira, which of course Everson Pereira hits 2 homers against the Rays, and it's like
he was with the Rays for like a minute,
or hits 2 homers with the White Sox, and it's like couldn't get him to do anything last year with the Rays when he got some playing time. And I just love the resilience they showed in that third game. Like I think it would just been really easy to say, hey, we'll take 2 of 3 and move on to Pittsburgh. And Junior came up clutch. They worked that rally with a couple big bases loaded walks, and I was super impressed that they pulled that off for a sweep, because even though, you see teams going, against you playing bad teams, it's hard to sweep bad teams. It's hard to sweep any major league
Yep.
team. So, I just was really impressed by the Brazilians, and again, like, that made you 8-1 against the American League so far this year, which is really great. Like, hey, if we're gonna sweep teams, or we're gonna win series, I'm grateful that they're doing it against the teams that every game matters the same, but I would argue that depending on the opponent, some games can mean a little bit more, potentially down the road. And so I'm glad that they got the sweep in Chicago.
Yeah, I like the momentum that came off the Yankee series going
Right.
into this, because I know everybody was like, okay, they swept the Yankees. Now they're probably going to go drop 2 out of 3, or they're going to get really beaten really bad against the White Sox. I just loved how they just kept that going. The momentum kept going into that series, especially like, for me, look, I'm still kind of okay. When are the wheels going to fall off, and then the whole season's going to be a disaster? I'm still there because of just the issues that we have ongoing with the bullpen and all that other stuff.
Right.
So, like, for every series, for me, like, just keep winning series, man. Just take 2 out of 3 or sweep. I mean, going into this one against the Pirates, I think we all kind of knew this was going to be tougher than most series just because of the pitching. You're going against Skeens. You kind of beat Skeens, honestly, with the 8-7 win on Saturday. But
yeah, winning the Skeens game was probably the more unexpected thing.
Yeah. So, but I think going into the series as a whole, I think the expectations was at least come out and not, play like crap after sweeping the Yankees and the White Sox. You know what I mean?
And even with the White Sox series, the Yankee series is always such a big. We've heard, Kevin talked about it last week on our show. Shout out to KK. For him, playing the Yankees, it's just always one of those series that are always, they're not created equal, right? Like, it's the Yankees, Red Sox. Those are the series that there's always just a little more juice, and then you come off of that big sweep. You just knowing sports, like, sometimes it's easy. Not that they weren't taking the White Sox, not seriously, but it's easy to think that, like, a team could come off that and maybe kind of maybe just be the energy might not be there. Coming off a big sweep of the Yankees, kind of playing a team that's, been a crappy place for y'all to play the last few years. And yeah, they just, I think they genuinely surprised me. I was expecting them to win the series. I did not expect the sweep. And so I was really just excited for them to do that. And then, we need to touch on too, Shane McClanahan getting that first win. If you guys haven't seen I don't know if you saw his post-game interview from that game Tuesday night, but it was awesome. I mean, you talk about just like a really great window into, like, I think, just personal. You could see the human emotion from him. Like, you just don't get that very often when in professional sports, especially I feel like in baseball, where there's so much.
I'm glad that he's really animated when it comes to these interviews, because it really kind of humanizes him about, okay, I need to do better, especially when the one he was kind of throwing expletives out there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you just hear like all the same stuff with baseball players,
Mhm.
and they don't ever offer any. Rarely it feels like they offer any, like, personalization or really, like, truly, like, what they're thinking so much. It's just a lot of the same, like, idioms and catchphrases and stuff. And I was really entertained, and thought his comments after the game showed. You could just see, I think, the emotion of what that game meant for him, all the things he went through, obviously, with the injuries, his family stuff, his dad dying, all that playing a part in kind of where he was at in that moment. And yeah, it's just neat. I mean, obviously, we all love Shane and are big fans of his and want him to succeed, but it's a neat moment to, like, see these guys as, like, actual human beings, and
Mhm.
just kind of see that shining through a little bit in the media, because we don't always get to know players that way. And it's cool. Everybody knows how much he's gone through. It's cool to see him on the other side of that, succeeding and having these big moments. And I know today's game against the Pirates wasn't as clean and crisp, but it's, as you mentioned, like, I think we kind of turned a corner with Shane, where he's been a little easier on himself. give himself a little grace, like you talked about, and yeah,
I think he's just got to keep
huge turning point for him and kind of this whole journey back.
Yeah, he's just got to keep each of these starts is looking as a step towards getting fully ramped. And I know look. Jay said this on the show the other day. Like he's a huge competitor and he's always hard on himself, and he's just got to know that, man. It's going to take time, and I like the progress I've seen. It's progress. We haven't seen like a step back, so he has to be encouraged by each outing. Even if he loses, he still has to be encouraged by each outing that he has. So I want to get into
wait on real quick with Shane.
Yeah.
At what point do you think? At what point in the season would you say you're like, okay,
everything's good to go?
Everything like
I would say once we get into May, I think you'll really start to see the ramp up. I think then you'll see he's gonna hit that plateau and hopefully stay there. I think once we get into May, then it's really gonna be go time with him.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see when they kind of take the gloves off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder when that first game will be when he goes to the 6th inning. That'll be his next big moment. We really haven't seen like a dominant start from him. I know that he got the win against the White Sox. I would say he worked his way out of trouble a few innings.
I was going to say, I mean, the way the things are going with the bullpen, I mean, I would see it probably coming soon. He's going to have to go deeper in the games, just the way the bullpen's been underwhelmingly performed. Cash is really have to look at his starters now. It's like I can't trust these arms.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to let these guys kind of let loose. He has to, unless they're thinking about making a move to bring in fresh arms from either via trade or signings or something like this. Like it's not sustainable for this bullpen to be this bad over and over. It can't be. Because if we keep going in deeper into the season now, it's nice being first place in the AL East, but we're still in the middle of April. So
yeah,
the sustainability of this bullpen, it has to change. And I know there's limited arms that he has to work with, but they've got to make some kind of they have to make some kind of shakeup or some kind of bringing it, like some kind of move, like. They've got to sign somebody that's ready to go, or they got to make a ballsy trade to bring in some relievers, because if they're looking to, win 90 plus games and, go contend for the East and keep the East as theirs throughout the whole season, something's got to give, man.
Well, you got,
I know. Didn't Uceta? Oh no, Clevenger had a setback.
Uceta did.
Yeah. Oh, Uceta did. Okay, so Uceta's got a setback.
Clevenger pitched for Durham today.
He had a bad outing though.
Didn't do great, but again, I don't put a whole lot of stock in that.
Okay, so now you might be down an arm with Uceta, but then Clevenger's back. But then still, you have a bullpen that nobody trusts right now, and Jax is just.
Jax did redeem himself Saturday. And it was a gutsy outing from him, having no expectation of pitching Saturday, and then coming through at the end there. But you got 4 guys really. I mean, between Jax and then the bottom 3 of Engler, Sulcer, and Gomez, you're kind of just holding your breath every time they're pitching.
I was holding my breath last night for the extra innings game because I thought they were going to blow it again.
Well, in fairness, it's easy to blow. Like if the offense didn't do anything for them in extra innings. I mean, the only run they got until Cedric's 2-run homer was because the Pirates pitcher botched that pickoff throw so bad that Taylor got the score from first. So, I mean, if anything, Saturday's game really for me was like, hey, okay, like this is I thought this was kind of a stepping stone moment for the bullpen. I forget who gave up the I don't remember off the top of my head who gave up the tying run in the 8th. But it was Brian Baker. But at this point, I mean, Brian Baker he's the only guy that people no one's going to criticize Brian Baker at this point.
Right.
And he kept it at the tie game. But like I'm just trying to think. There was, I know, one inning where we gave up a run, but again, like giving up 1 run in the extra innings is so easy to do. I mean, they didn't even like really do anything to get that they had a fly ball to left field. Or they had a fly ball and like a grounder that, just took too many hops. So I think the bullpen on Saturday really showed up. The Friday game was, it's kind of same old. Like I also thought too, like as much as we praise Cash, I think, he had a great series against the Yankees and like obviously pushed, a lot of the right buttons against the White Sox. Like I don't see Friday night as one of his more sterling outings as a manager. I don't understand. They did it Saturday. They fixed it Saturday, but I don't understand why Friday you're coming around to the top of the Pirates lineup that has 2 lefties, a switch hitter, and then another lefty, and you throw Jackson there. Why would you not go to a lefty there against Cruz? Again, I don't know pitch shape and pitch type and numbers against,
Well, also, is it also it's availability too? I mean,
all the data. Like I just don't know. I just don't know Friday night why you don't go, because they had the and I don't remember if Seymour pitched Thursday, but like I would have gone to a lefty there.
Wasn't he the opener for one of the games?
No, Engler or Sulcer opened for Schultz, but that was at the beginning of the series. That was Wednesday, I think, because Matt's pitched Thursday. So I just don't, I don't think he'd made the right calls on the bullpen in Friday night that put those guys in the best position to succeed. Now, granted, Cruz hit a tough pitch out on Jax. It wasn't like it was a hanger like he gave up to Burleson on opening day, but I just don't like Friday night. To me was like kind of a classic. It makes more sense to me. Why would we not go to a lefty there when you have such a lefty heavy part of the lineup and you got burned by it and you weren't able to recover? The reality is Friday night, both those home runs that were hit to make it 5-1 were all on 2 strikes, 2 outs. You're 1 pitch away from essentially getting out of that without any runs. And I thought they redeemed themselves really nicely Saturday. I mean, Gomez coming in, getting those final 3 outs.
The rain delay helped out.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you come out of the rain delay and you tie it up. That's cool. Yeah.
I had kind of written off going, after they lost Friday, Apple TV curse. I didn't have high expectations. Truly, I was like, "There's no way." Like things just always go wrong on Friday on the Apple TV games. But Saturday, you're like, okay, well, Skeens is pitching. He always pitches us tough. Drew's going, so maybe we can keep it close. But I didn't really think we were going to win it. And then, as I was realizing with the rain delay, I was like, oh, well, he's going to be out. I was so frustrated that Drew gave up that additional 2-run homer to Azunos, like that last inning before the delay, thinking like, man, if it was still like 2-0, we would really have a shot. But I didn't. I mean, again, resilience, like coming out of that rain delay in that top of the 5th and scoring 5 on two outs, like scoring 5 in a row.
I kept checking the score, and then I was like, okay, why? Okay, they're under delay right now. I'm like, okay, this usually doesn't turn out great for them when it comes out of delay, and then they scored and tied. I was like, okay, then there could be some kind of life in this team after
and they held them, and then but then you're just like, oh, they didn't score in the extras.
Like, they just kept going back and forth.
They had
like
O'Neill Cruz at third base with 1 out. Like
I think they had runners. I think the Pirates had runners in second and third. I'm like, this is going to be over.
Yeah,
they'll do some kind of squeeze play. They'll put them in.
I mean, you got to score in those situations. I mean, it really just takes a lot of really good luck for you not to give up a run there. So, I mean, you definitely caught a break. I mean, because at the end of the day, you only had to face Skeens for 4 innings.
Yeah.
And you take that any time. Because if he stays in there and it's a normal game, I mean, he's probably going 7 shutout. Or
how much do you miss?
Especially when they didn't cash in the second inning with bases loaded, no one out.
How much do you miss Brandon Lau?
Man, I was thinking, I don't know.
And Mangum.
I don't miss Mangum.
Well, how much?
I realized again. I mean, I know he played well today. I really liked him last year. I really did. I mean, it's not like I didn't like him, but as I watched him more last year, Jake Mangum, not Brandon Lau, of course.
Yeah.
I got more frustrated with how he played, more so because without his approach out on offense specifically. He's obviously hustles. He's good defender. He's got a good arm. Like I'm not knocking at that. He's a good base runner. But like he hits he makes contact so much, like he's able to put the bat on the ball that he swings. I don't remember what the numbers were, but his chase rate or swings of pitches out of the zone have got to be among the league leaders in terms of being so high. I mean, he swings at the worst pitches, and he'll foul them off. He did it Saturday. He did it when he came in. I know they walked him, but I think I don't know if he got a second at bat or if it was in that first at bat where he got intentionally walked. He hit a ball that bounced before the plate. Like the pitcher dirted one and it bounced up, and it was like a cricket, like he was playing cricket. And
almost like a golf swing.
Yeah, and he fouled it off, and it should have been 1-1, and instead it was 0-2. And I was like, that's I remember now. Like it all brought. I was like, I remember just being so frustrated watching him towards like the second half. It was like he just was so confident he could get the bat on any pitch that he would swing, and I didn't think he had good vision. Like I just didn't think he had good plate vision. And in all seriousness, like it's great that you can make contact on balls, but if you're swinging at bad pitches, you're going to make terrible contact.
Right.
And now he's kind of like Chandler Simpson light. He gets these infield hits. He makes the defense nervous and all this stuff, but he's not quite as fast as Simpson. So it's like just a notch or two below. To me, I don't think he would have added much. Brandon Lau, on the other hand, especially considering Gavin Lux, this guy that we're
never going to see him, man.
Told to be, he didn't play today. He was supposed to play today, didn't play. So I don't know what's going on.
I'm telling you right now, he's never going to step foot, and he's going to be Ha-Seong Kim 2.0.
It's going to be a situation where he comes back like Ha-Seong Kim, where he comes back and
briefly and then gets injured again,
or he comes back like in the summer, plays enough, and then the Rays are like, yeah, we'll move
or
you.
DFAs
We got other options, whether because they're out of it or because they can do something different, and whatever they're doing is working out better.
I know it's too. I mean, it's too early to put a grade on that trade. I mean, Ben Williamson is doing a pretty good job. What he's doing right now.
Well, the Brandon Lau trade, you really can't.
But they could necessarily. Drew, they could have paid him. They could have paid him for like one more year or extended him out.
That's what I was thinking about the most, because
the amount of money they spent on bringing. Who did they bring over? Or for that trade, I know, but like for the amount of money that
Brandon Lau was Melton and Brito, the two Astros prospects. And then they brought Gavin Lux over in
I'm talking about like the money they spent on other players. They could have used that money to pay Lau. I mean, well, I know he's the injury history and everything like that too, but right now you're like you're pigeonholed because of you signed Lux thinking he's going to be the everyday second baseman. That hasn't happened just yet,
or at least the strong side platoon.
Yeah. Now we're using. I mean, Williamson has done a pretty good job filling in, and Palacios too as well. But like, it's not a Brandon Lau. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't remember how the timing, and I don't remember exactly what Cedric Mullins is making. But I would think that
making 12.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So it was around Brandon Lau.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lau was due what, $13 million for the next year?
It was like a 12 to 13.
12, 13.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about the most. Honestly, I was shocked he didn't homer. He got close. Close. No, I mean, I would have put money on him homering.
I was gonna do like a home run bet for Brandon Lau each of the games, because he's going against his former team.
You knew he was gonna get one,
because they always do that against their former teams. They do well.
Well, in the Rays, it feels like, and again, I'm not tracking how former players do against other teams, but it always just feels like the Rays get snake bitten by even the most obscure. It's like either that or it's if they're local to the area.
Yeah.
Like these.
Somebody posted up on X the other day, the Rays have, it was a list of players that the Rays have let go or they've traded away, and they've pretty much all found success in the past like few years, where trading with the Rays isn't as scary anymore because of just the way these trades have worked out, not in the Rays' favor so far. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's several.
Josh Bradley's 3-0.
I don't. The Taj Bradley one, like, I get it. He's done well. I got to see it for a full season. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
he's not. He was the best pitcher in baseball for like 8 starts. What, a year and a half ago, 2 years
Mhm.
ago in 2024, and the wheels fell off, and the wheels fell off last year too. And like, if he does it for most, if not a whole season, then yeah, I mean, that's going to be. I think for me, it's less that Griffin Jacks has been an impact reliever, has been much less of an impact reliever than we thought he
We all
would
thought he was
be.
going to be. Yeah.
If Griffin Jacks was consistent or consistently good, he's been consistent, just the wrong kind. To me, it's like I don't think Taj Bradley is going to have the staying power to be this top of the line rotation guy, because we just haven't seen it. He continually does well for a period of time and then just falls off. But you're not getting what you thought you were going to get out of Jax, whether it's bad luck or what. I don't care. At some point, you just have to say, like,
Well,
hey,
also too, the
we got to go
Bradley
back to the
trade.
drawing board.
I think with Taj, it was he got to the point where it's like, okay, we've seen enough. We've seen
Yeah.
enough of what you could possibly do. So why not trade you when the value is right there? I mean, same goes with Shane Baz. Shane Baz right now is 0-2 right now with almost like a 5 ERA.
Listen, the Shane Baz trade, I mean, I think
I
don't care
was
about
okay with that.
prospects. The fact,
I was okay with
yeah,
that. I was okay
I
with it.
never understood the discourse around how Shane Baz was just going to turn out to be this really great pitcher in Baltimore. When, I mean, again, I know that Steinbrenner was not friendly to him last year, and that certainly inflated numbers. But I, if you watch Rays games over the last few years, especially when he came back from his Tommy John, like, I just don't. I never saw him, like, yeah, he's got all this potential, but he was never consistent
Well,
enough.
I remember when that trade happened
He was so average.
for that trade when he came over in the Archer trade. He was kind of like the consolation prize for that whole package deal, anyways, because a lot of people are like, okay, who's the third guy? Shane Baz.
They couldn't believe that, because he was like a first round pick, and
Yeah. Well, he was a top prospect with him because it's just the way how hard he was throwing and everything. But like, he was kind of that consolation prize. Well, he's going to be probably down in the minors for a little bit, but then he started to move up. But just the control issues and everything was just a problem.
I just think I laughed when the Orioles extended him. I mean,
me too.
I couldn't believe. What are the numbers on that? It was like,
I think it was like 5 years,
like 660 or 70 something million.
5 years, $68 million contract.
Yeah,
so it's a team friendly deal. I mean,
right.
But like, so far, not so great for the Orioles.
I mean, I would be, again, that's just one I'd be shocked to see him deliver on that contract. But yeah, I mean, I know we're these trades, but the Brandon Loud trade, like, I thought about that the most this weekend of, why can't they just have him on the team? Like, you put Brandon Loud in this lineup again.
Drew, when he homered the first few games of the season, I'm like, why couldn't we just pay him?
Well, yeah, he's
money.
Great. I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
I just don't. And again, we don't know how that trade came out, or came about. I was telling my son, because he was asking the same questions, like, why did they get rid of him? And I was like, well, it's not always too that. I think maybe it was just the Astros and the the Astros came to them and said, hey,
yeah,
we would give you, like, they kind of came to the Rays. They were the aggressor, maybe. We don't know if it was the Rays just shopping Brandon Lau around. Like, we don't know how it came together. Maybe they were content with him being there, and then they felt like the return they were getting was too good to pass up, knowing they're probably going to not re-sign him after his deal was done. And then, knowing they could probably replace him with a Gavin Lux, or there were other options that they could fill there while getting these, high-end prospects in Melton and Brito. So the logic behind it, I don't hate, but it's just tough when you.
Well, also too, the price tag was going to keep going up and up. So
right, so you're basically like, we'll take them for another year, and then either trading him at the deadline or just not getting anything for him outside of a pick. And so,
well, it also poses the question too: why haven't they traded Yandy Diaz? Because Yandy's been.
And he extended. He's got another? I think he's got another year option left too.
He could be on that chopping block at the end of this year.
Maybe, but
I mean, he's been on the trade talks for the past couple of years. So
Yeah. So I was glad to see Brandon do well.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
happy
I mean,
for him.
he would
It's just
be
sad.
he would yeah, for sure. I mean, he would obviously the lineup would certainly look even better, but I don't think Brandon not being on this team is what has held this team back so far, even though they're, one of the better records in the American League. So obviously they're playing well. And this brand of baseball that we're seeing where they're putting the ball in play, they're not striking out, they're, bunting you, small ball, all the things like,
Mhm.
it's working. So I don't think Brandon not being on this team is holding the team back so much as the other
My
issues we
thing
talked
is,
about. But
though, it's working, but is it sustainable?
right,
Because it's
right.
going to catch up. Teams are going to catch up.
Well, yeah, it's not always gonna work out. Like, I mean, the way it worked out in the Yankee series, I don't think it's gonna work out that well the rest of the season in terms of just how things went. Like the balls put in play, where they were, who was on base, like all the situational aspects really just turned out in our favor. But you're right. Like at some point, I think there's gonna be a point where it's like, man, we need a lefty bat. We need a lefty power bat that can,
Yep.
hit
I
homers. And it's
see. That's
like,
the thing, though.
well, we could have
I
had
hope.
one, and it's going to be a time where we feel that absence. At this point, yes, it would be obviously great. I just don't think Brandon's absence is really, I've never once been like, man, we just, we're really missing out here because again, to their credit, like Ben Williamson, like you mentioned, he's played great.
He's been playing great.
Palacios. I mean, I think I would wonder if people would if they had the choice to go with Richie Palacios or Gavin Lux at this point.
Palacios.
I mean, I think people would probably say Palacios, and because he's not played poorly, he's hitting the ball well. He's got some timely hits, some timely home runs, and
Well, I would also say too, people are going to say Palacios because just now everybody's going to think Lux is one breeze away from getting hurt because of just he's the setbacks. And I'm telling you right now, we're never going to see him.
I love that
never gonna
prediction
see
from you because you were spot on. I tell you what, you nailed the Shane McClanahan prediction last year. You did. You said the same thing back in like April and May. And I was like, no, he'll be back because I was an optimist. I didn't want to believe it. But I mean, it is kind of weird. He got off to such a bad start in spring.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had the shoulder, he had the shoulder issue too on top of that. They're like,
cranky shoulder.
Yeah, those vague thing when they talk about a major, like a shoulder, or like even with Pepio's hip, I felt similar. Like I was really skeptical that he was going to be back.
I wouldn't be surprised if Boyle goes on IL for 60 days, but then they put him. He has TJ, and then
they said there's no structural damage with Boyle.
I'm telling you that they say that just to see if just to look. That kind of the same deal happened with Shane McClanahan. Oh, he's got right elbow inflammation. Comes back, goes crazy. Like I'm telling you right now. They better start calling up the phones and seeing who's available for trade because Boyle's probably going to go and get TJ. And then Pep's hip inflammation, if they're pushing him out to the 60-day, I'm telling you, it's going to be one of those things they're just going to keep pushing it out because he's just not ready. He's still getting aggravated. They got to figure it out. I would say they got to figure it out right now. Like Neander's got to be on the phone going, okay, worst case scenario, I've got to make some moves where I'm bringing in arms because I'm running out of them right now.
Yeah, I mean that was something when we talked with Jay last week, Jay Retcher. It's a concern of mine right now is if the rotation feels super thin, because you got Brody Hopkins in AAA. I don't think he's ready.
He's not ready yet, man.
Yet.
He's not ready.
You got Workman. Like none of the stars in AAA really inspire a whole lot of confidence as guys that come up and fill a spot. So then you're thinking maybe I don't think they would stretch Seymour out at this point. So like Schulten's coming through the last two starts has been a surprise, and maybe it's one of those things where they found a diamond in the rough with him, and they can make him into an effective starter, or kind of a la Zach Littell.
Hey, Zach Littell's not happy in San Francisco right now. Maybe we can just tell him.
Where's he at?
He's in San Fran.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Is he? I thought he was in Washington for some reason.
Maybe he's in Washington.
I don't know, but I don't think I saw he didn't pitch well the other day.
Oh yeah, he's in Washington. My bad.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm skeptical. Yeah, I think you're right. Like there could be a situation. We just gotta hope that the arms.
I know we're gonna monitor the situation. Maybe when I'm there on Wednesday, I can ask those questions and nobody wants to ask. Like, what's realistically, are we gonna see these guys? I mean, come on. Like, stop being vague with us. Like, don't treat us like children. Like, tell us the truth.
Maybe you probably shouldn't phrase it that way.
I'm not gonna phrase it like that, but just be like, how bad is the inflammation?
Just go to Neander's office, Eric. Come on, man. Stop BSing.
Stop BSing the BSer. Come on.
We know Lux isn't suiting up for at least the first half of the season. And maybe it'll stretch out long enough where we can get the old tried and true. It's like we got an acquisition at the deadline when one of our injured players comes back. It's like we traded for
we traded away 30 home runs for
second baseman at the deadline.
Yeah, because we traded away 30 home runs for a guy that can't be healthy.
I think that's my least favorite. My least favorite thing about trade deadlines is you always hear it too. No matter whichever team, there's always one team. And it's like we got a starter at the deadline.
Huge acquisition.
Oh yeah, it's like no, you didn't.
Could make an impact.
You just got an injured player back. Let's not confuse the two. Anyway, yeah, I know we're just kind of like on a tangent tonight, but that's all right. Well, listen, I will say, just to kind of wrap up our thoughts on the road trip, like 4-2 road trip. I think before going into the week, anyone would take a 4-2 road trip. I mean, 6-game road trip, you win 4, go 4-2. No one would say no to that.
Nope.
You sweep the AL team. They continue to win the games against, I think, teams that matter more right now. Again, I don't think we're going to necessarily be competing with the White Sox for a playoff spot, but the Twins have been off to a hot start. Obviously, winning 3 against the Yankees. You think about the tiebreaker scenarios. Already getting 3 wins against a division opponent is huge. Like, they're winning a lot of the games that are, I think, that are more important at this point in the season than some others. So I'm glad that if they're choosing to lose series at this point, it's only against the NL Central teams. Hopefully they can buck the trend this coming
against the Reds
series against the Reds. It's kind of crazy to think that they already have played all of the NL Central teams. Not even, 20 something games into the season. Like a game.
We've only played one AL East opponent, which is the Yankees.
I know. And, it's, and that our time's coming in a few weeks, I think. But, yeah, I mean, it's been 1-2 against all the other NL Central teams. So hopefully
as long as we get that out of the way, we'll be okay.
Again, if a 6-game homestand, if they can go 4-2, like,
I'm going to be busy this week. I'm going there. I'll be press on Wednesday, and then I'm going on Saturday with my wife and kids.
Oh, so fun.
I'll be there. I'll be there for the Red Series and for the Twin Series.
Taj, speaking of Taj, we were talking about him. I think he pitches on Friday.
I'll be there on Saturday for City Connect.
Okay. Well, Taj is going to be pitching in the Trop Friday night. So we'll see what he's all about. I mean,
hopefully he does.
I'm sure it will go great because, again, revenge spot, quote unquote. Although hopefully our Rays players can have some revenge against the Reds because we've got a few of our own getting their former team this week. So, hoping for another winning homestand and keep the good vibes rolling. I mean, hey, the rest of the division, I mean, the Yankees took care of business this weekend against the Royals, so now they're a half game up on the Rays, which is whatever.
Royals
they're really bad. The Royals and the Mets right now are easily, and the Astros are all super disappointing.
The Mets lost their 11th in a row.
That's crazy. My Mets World Series pick is looking real rough right now.
Hey, it's still early. They can catch.
Oh yeah, still early. But the rest of the division though, man, the AL East is, again, it's a little bit like what we were kind of talking about too. Like the Yankees, I still think the Yankees, they are who they are. Like they hit really well at home and they're tough to beat at Yankee Stadium. The Rays just always play them so tough that I just don't look at the Yankees I don't feel like they're as good as
they're not as good as they're advertised.
Makes them out to be. Like but they just continue to win. I mean, they dominated this weekend. So, but
when you play the Royals, I mean,
the Blue Jays are easily the most surprising, but they've had a ton of injuries, which obviously you can't predict. And then like the Orioles we talked about it. Like, we just don't think they're as good as people thought they were going to be. I think people just lazily said, oh, they had a rough year last year. They've got all these great young guys. They signed Pete Alonso. They got a revamped rotation, even though it wasn't a revamped rotation. It was
even the Red Sox are kind of a mess right now too.
Yeah, they're looking bad. So hopefully before we get into division play, the Rays can kind of keep this momentum going and just, winning homestand, keep putting some distance between yourself and some of these other teams in the division, so that when you do get into divisional play, and I think they've got a span where they play 3 opponents. I think they play Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Orioles 3 series in a row in whatever order.
See, that will be
by that point. Hopefully, you've got some separation, to at least give yourself a little breathing room. It starts this week.
Okay, Wednesday's game is at 1:00. Over under how many fans?
They got over 20,000 in each of the games that first homestand, right?
I think so. Yeah. Remember, this was against the Cubs and the Yankees.
Right.
So this is against the Reds.
I would say
there's a lot of Ohio people that live down here in Florida. So
I would say I'll be optimistic and say 15.
15? Okay. I'll let you know on Wednesday.
So you're covering the game Wednesday, you're going to be credentialed Wednesday, which is really super cool. Really excited to hear how that goes.
They like us.
I know. Well, hey, listen, we're nice guys, and we care. We want to do a good job. We're professional.
Listen, when you have quality guests and then do giveaways, you gotta let us know.
We try to do things the right way. So we try to be, we're just professional as we can be. If they lose Wednesday while you're there, though, I think
I can never go back.
Maybe you should rethink trying to be credentialed, going more credentialed. I'm just kidding. But
let's see what happens on Saturday.
If they dominate Wednesday, then man,
they'll have to credential me more. I mean, I'll be there on Saturday as a fan, but Wednesday I'll be credentialed. So
where are you sitting Saturday?
Section 214.
Oh, okay, middle.
Yeah, 214. Like right.
That's not you're not in the club area, right? Okay.
Not the club. It's like it's like right above, that first base line.
Yeah. Cool.
It'll be good stuff.
That'll be fun.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Rays Rewind podcast. Just FYI, there's another ticket giveaway that our buddies over at Blue Ribbon Auto Glass is giving away. So make sure to go to their page, follow them. Also follow us on YouTube as well at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind, and it's your chance to get some tickets for the game. Actually, I think it's for tomorrow's game, so better do it now.
Where?
I believe it's section 108, so that's right behind home plate. Yeah, they're like pretty good tickets.
They're for tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I told Aaron, I was like, "Look, if you had nobody to give them to, you can just give them to me, and I'll just go." We'll just see. So. Right. But thanks for tuning in. It is the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind and our Instagram page at Rays Rewind Podcast. We will see you guys again on the Rays Rewind podcast. I'll be there on Wednesday, so if you guys see me at the Trop, say hello, take a picture. Maybe I'll have some Rays baseball cards with me I'll give away. But other than that, I'll see you guys. For Drew and I, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.